Test, test, test. There we go. So let's go to Kahoot IT, and that way the people that are in here early get to play a fun game. So we know who the hardcore. These are all your A students here, you know. Now you guys want an A plus, you got to come up to the. There's no A plus students. No one in the front row. Second row is like a strong A. Then we have like an A minus. Then we have B plus over here. You know how that goes, right? Yeah. The A row is up here. Now I'm easily distracted. You wouldn't guess that from listening to me. And so when I go to school, when I'm in college, I'm in the front row. If I'm in the back row, I'm going to be chasing squirrels, joking with my friends, whatever. I'm right in the front, less distractions. I'm paying money to learn. I want to learn. And if you think I'm not cool, you can think that. All right, there we go. Nicodemus. Is that a real name, or is that just someone having fun? Yes, sweetheart? Just go to the website, kahoot.it, then enter in that number. So KAHOOT.IT. Oh, just where's your address? Oh, yeah, you have to put Wi-Fi on. Oh, no. Chrome. Go right here. Be happy. There you go. All right. Jacob, Kamaki, Kuyapo. That sounds Polynesian. Okay, yeah. Is that you? Yeah. Oh, are you Polynesian? Hawaiian. Aloha. I love Hawaii. Honolulu Bay is my favorite place on planet Earth. Oh, man. I've been to the Big Island, too. I like Hawaii better, though. Well, my family has allergies, and so when the fog or the volcanic smoke, it messes up all their breathing. But it's cool to see, though. But if I were to live on an island, it'd be Kauai. Yes, I have a sticker. You look on my truck camper. I have a sticker of the chickens on the back of my truck camper. Wherever we go, we get stickers, right? So I got a sticker from Pikes Peak yesterday. Kamaki, Jacob. All right, I think we're close. You guys ready to play the game? Everyone's on their smartphone? All right, now this one's going to be competitive. So there will be a winner and there will be a loser. All right. Kahoots, everyone's on. You can still join, by the way. The number will be up there. So if you're a little bit late, go to the website and the entry number will be on the screen here. What is a lie? 4 options. A true story that evolves over hundreds of years. Reliable story supported by eyewitnesses. Story made up on purpose to get money, love, or power, or historical fact. Which one's a lie? Red, blue, yellow, green. And there's the pin. You can see the pin, 635-1530 if you're late. So join in. A story made up on purpose. Yes. Dictionaries are important, okay? And now let's see who got the right answer the fastest. Jacob, Rebecca. Good job, Rebecca, and VH. I'd be scared. Who's Jacob? Oh, look out, Jacob. It's her lucky day today. All right. What is a legend? All right. Story made up on purpose. Story based on lots of evidence. Eyewitness account. Starts as a true story, but evolves over hundreds of years. Right? Oh, by the way, I do have a story of Jesus here without any miracles. This is what you want to be the oldest version. Unfortunately, it's the newest version, the Jefferson Bible, written, I think, 1,700 years after Jesus. This is not a historically reliable document. 1,700 years, 2 to 10 years. All right? Anyhow, didn't have time to share that earlier. I was trying to get out on time for lunch. True story, boom, 16. You guys got it right. Legend is a true story. And, oh, I warned you, Jacob. There goes Rebecca and me. Who is me? Me, myself. There you go. Good job, Selena. All right. Question 3, legit true story. How do you know a historical story is actually true? Made up to get rich, evolved over hundreds of years, historically reliable, based on eyewitness accounts, or historical myth. Right? What is a legit true story, or how do you know if a story is true? Okay. Boom. Almost everyone got it. There you go. Whoa, look at that. Jacob and Selena took first place. Nicodemus moved up, and his child. Welcome to the running board, his child. All right, number 4, true or false? Santa Claus is a legend, a true story that evolved over hundreds of years. True or false? 635-1530. I know it's not very big. It's at the bottom there. 635-1530. All right. Most of you got it right. Santa Claus is a legend, a true story that evolved over hundreds of years. Oh, Rebecca and Jacob just going at it. Number 5. Who was the real Santa Claus? An apostolic saint, an early church prophet, Nicholas of Myra, or author of the Nicene Creed? Or Nicene? Nicene? I'm not sure. There's my water bottle. All right, got 19 answers. There we go. That's right. Nicholas of Myra. Bishop Nicholas of Myra, 342 AD. Me. Good job. All right. Good seeing an adult take first. As usually the teenagers win. They got quicker reflexes. Biology is real. All right. Double points. Here's your chance to catch up. How long did it take for Santa's story to evolve? 50, 100, 500, or 1,588 years? All right, 1,588 years. Yes, the biography, the first biography was 500 years. But the Santa Claus we know of now with the red suit and the sleigh, that is from the poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, and the Coca-Cola ad campaign are kind of two of the big milestones there. So that's the 1,500 years. For Santa, St. Nicholas is 500 years. Okay, oh, there we go. Rebecca's back up. VH. Who's VH? All right, question number 7. How many eyewitnesses saw the resurrected Jesus according to Paul? You'll notice when Paul made his list, he disagreed. All 4 Gospels says the first eyewitnesses were who? Women. But women's testimony didn't count in court. So when Paul said in 1 Corinthians 15 who the first eyewitnesses was, he only mentioned the men because he's making a case within his culture. Now, Paul has some amazing pro-women verses, right? There's neither male nor female, all one in Christ. But as he's making a logical case for Christ, you'll notice he only uses the male eyewitnesses, which was the culture at the time. All 4 Gospels say it was women, though, in the biography. There we go. Oh, everybody moved up. Let's see. 8 out of 11. How long until Jesus' first mention? How many years? 100 years, 50 years, 2 to 10 years, or 17 years? First mention of Jesus. Might be 2 correct answers. Be careful. 17 years in Galatians, 2 to 10 years in Creed. Forget which one I actually said for this. Sorry if I messed you up. Nope, right, 2 to 10 years in Creeds. Okay, because it does predate the letter of Galatians. Galatians is the first New Testament book written, though. Or 1 Thessalonians. They're close. Right there. Dennis on a good day. Where's Rebecca Kuyopo and VH. All right, 3 questions left. How many witnesses wrote about Jesus in the New Testament? How many eyewitnesses? Okay, so was it 6, 1, 12, or no one? All right, what did we say earlier? How many books are written by a claimed eyewitness? Now, Mark, we're actually not sure about John Mark, if he was an eyewitness or not. Luke explicitly says he investigated everything. There were 6 authors. 6 authors wrote 23 books. 27 books total, of course, Mark and Luke and Hebrews. We're not really sure who wrote Hebrews, to be honest, but it's a beautiful book. I'm glad it's in the Bible. All right, you're still up there, hanging on. All right, 2 questions left. Rebecca, can you do it? How many ancient manuscripts of the New Testament have we discovered? None, over 25,000, 1,500, 10,000. New Testament ancient manuscripts before the printing press. Okay, they're in Latin, Greek, and I forget the other one. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at my notes. 25,000 in 3 languages. There we go. Awesome. All right. On fire 98. Oh, that's hard to catch. Last question. She has to get it wrong, and you have to get it right. Or Dennis. Dennis, you're doing amazing. Good for you. Last question. Multi-select. If the story of Jesus is really true, how many of the following are true? Might be more than one answer. Creator of the universe loves me no matter what. God can give me hope in any situation. Jesus can turn my weakness into strength. God wants to live in my heart, Emmanuel. How many of those are true if the story of Jesus in the New Testament is true? All of them are true. All 4 of them are true. Jesus versus Santa, podium, drum roll. 3rd place is VH. Good job, VH. 2nd place is Dennis on a good day. And 1st place is me. Good job. And I have to say, I'm always like, good job here. But like, honestly, usually people who are a little more advanced in years can't get the reflexes quick enough. No, you have really quick reflexes. Good for you. Do you play a lot of video games? No? Okay. He's an undercover gamer. All right. No. To be able to be up there with the young people, I'm telling you, it's usually teenage girls usually win. Not all the time, but usually. That's the most common winner. All right. No, but she's young-ish. You're young-ish. I'm 47. You're younger than I am, I guarantee it. All right. So here's the thing. I need your guys' help. So there's all the different topics we can cover. We only have room in your brains for 2 more. I've done this before. We go too long. It starts going off the forehead. So these are 3 topics I think would be cool to cover. I want you guys to pick which 2 we want to do. Number 1, bad versions of God that people reject. When someone rejects God, they're always rejecting a version of God. We can go over that. In fact, we could do 2 sermons on that. Number 2, problems with not believing in God. We can also do 2 full messages on that. So if there is no God, what does that mean? Another way to say it, would the world be better without religion? Okay? And number 3, this is a very common problem for believing in God. If God is love, why does he allow evil? Now, we cover that some in number 1, but to do number 3, we're going to go deep into that. Where does that idea come from? How has that idea evolved over hundreds and hundreds of years? And what are some answers to it? So that's a deep dive into the problem of evil. If God is love, why does he allow evil? Hold up your fingers. You have 2 hands. You get 2 votes. So 1, 2, or 3. 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. Oh, my goodness. 2, 2. Okay, I'm just going to count. No, put your hands back up. I'm sorry. I can't just look at it. Okay, so actually, no, to make this easy, so the way you voted now, freeze your brain. Do not change your mind. Put your hands down. Only hold up number 1. If 1 is one of your options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's 12. Number 2, if that was one of your options, 1, so number 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, number 3. I'm glad it wasn't a tie. Number 3, okay? Now remember, you only get 2 votes, so you get 2 votes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so we're doing number 2 and number 3. Okay, good. Thank you for the clarity. So bad gods, sorry. Brown grass. Let's go with brown grass. Right here we go. Okay, we're going to go right here. Problems with not believing in God. I need to get some goodies. I was setting up here, and my wife insisted I eat food. I don't know, Pastor Dave, do you ever have your wife insist you eat food? All right. I think this is what I need. We'll see how good my memory's working. I'll put that over here. Okay, so before you break up with your beliefs, so kind of the idea of like, oh, I don't have enough faith to believe in God, so I'm going to not believe in God. Well, I hope this morning I established to not believe in God also takes a lot of faith. In my view, takes much more faith. So here, there's problems with believing in God. There's problems with church. Okay? So the lie is, if I stop believing in God, I won't have any intellectual problems. If you shove your head in the sand, yes. But if you are honest and you look into the other side of the argument, there's problems over here too. That's what we're going to cover. Let's have a quick word of prayer and we'll cover that. Dear Lord, be with us as we explore some of these deeper philosophical ideas and specifically some philosophical challenges to atheism. And I pray that you help us to be honest, to be open as we explore some of these deep concepts. And I pray that every person in this room, wherever they are in their journey, will be able to go one step closer to you in their journey of faith. In Jesus' name, all of God's children said, Amen. All right. So, number 1, God is not scared of your questions. If God is big enough to create the universe, if he's smart enough to create life, if he can resurrect himself from the dead, he's not scared of you. He loves you, not scared of you or your questions. And I just think it's just beautiful in the Bible how Jesus welcomes Thomas. You know, he says, check it out. You know, feel the scars, feel this. He's not scared of your questions, okay? So God says, come, let us reason together. Let's talk this through. And there we go, trying to get my phone to work. Now technology, stop being bad. There we go. Okay, let us reason together. If God does not exist, there are 4 major problems. There's actually more. We can do 8, but we're going to do 4 right now. Number 1 is the illusion of personhood. And a lot of this I'm getting from atheists. So this is not me criticizing atheism. I'm listening to atheists, and this is what they're saying, that this is reality, okay? That personhood is an illusion, the illusion of choice, okay? Number 3, the illusion of value. Number 4, the illusion of right and wrong. If there is no God, these are 4 major problems with not believing in God, okay? So before you break up with your beliefs, you know, and there's challenges believing with God. I mean, I shared earlier, someone asked me about the skulls. I'm like, I had the skulls in my hand. I'm not really sure what to do with that, okay? There's problems on the other team too, though. Illusion of personhood. Number 1, if there is no God, you are not really a person. You're just a really smart animal. When you break down an animal, you know, you can have like a zebra, you go down to a mouse, then you start going down like from animals to living things down to bacteria, and really you're just a complicated chemical reaction. And we can measure that. We can hook up to your brain, and you listen to me, there's brain waves going on. If you watch a movie, there's brain waves. If you laugh at a joke, there's brain waves. If you're angry or sad, your brain waves all change. That's an electrochemical reaction. And the more we learn about science, the more we learn about this. But at the end of the day, if there is no God, you're just a really big mix of chemicals interacting in a really amazing way, right? Now the problem, if you are not a person, you're just a smart animal. So let's talk about animals, right? Anyone ever watch a nature show? Right? We like seeing the drama of life and death, right? You know, we like watching the nature show. The lion is chasing the zebra. Sometimes the zebra gets away. Sometimes it doesn't. The lion goes and grabs his windpipe, suffocates him, and he has breakfast. No barbecue needed, right? Why don't we put the lion in prison? Why don't we put the lion in prison? He just murdered a zebra. What'd that zebra ever do to him? Why don't we punish the lion for killing a zebra?
Natural.
It's natural. They're a predator, okay. Well, lions don't just kill zebras. When a male lion takes over a new group called a pride, right, what he does, he will often systematically go around and get all the cubs a year or younger and kill them. Because by killing the cub, now the mommy lion doesn't have to take care of that baby lion. She goes into heat faster. He can make babies faster with the mom when the baby's out of the way. He can make his own babies faster and spread his own DNA. If there is no God, you are a DNA photocopier. You're a really complicated photocopier. By the end of the day, you're replicating your genes on, right? So if there is no God, we are just smart animals. Why don't we put this lion in jail? He's not being a predator. He's not eating the cub. He's just killing it to let the ladies get in heat faster so he can make his own babies. Why don't we put the lion in jail? What did you say? It's nature. So, if, let's say I die in a car accident and someone remarries my wife, why does he want to put his energy and resources into raising my kids, not his DNA, right? And then my wife's attention and love is with those 4 kids, right? You get rid of those kids, she can be focused on the new kids, right? Why do we put men in jail or women in jail for killing babies? Right? We're not entering the abortion debate. That's another debate. But, you know, a baby who's out of the womb, right? Post-birth, why do we put them in jail? If there is no God, it's an illusion that you're a person. You're just a chimp with a supersized brain, essentially, right? You're a primate with a more advanced brain. The Bible, in contrast, says you are a person. You are more than an animal. What is mankind? Includes women, okay? What is mankind, men and women, that you care for them? You've made them a little lower than the angels, and you crown him with glory and honor and made him ruler over the animals. So sometimes the church wants to make us into angels. We're not, okay? For example, with marriage and stuff like that, you know, like, oh, you should have no temptation before you're married. Well, that's not how biology works, boys and girls. But we should have self-control. But we're not angels, right? We are part animal, but we're more than animals, right? Lower than the angels, higher than the animals. And what is one of the probably top 3 most important verses in the Bible, right? God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them male and female. It is wrong to kill someone, a human being, because you're killing someone in the image of God. You're killing a person, not just an animal. If there is no God, you're just an animal. Why is it wrong to kill people? Why is it wrong to kill humans? Shouldn't say people, because people is a theological assumption, right? If there is no God, there is no theology. Yes. Yeah, but when we do that, if a lion attacks humans, we can say it's territory. When the lion attacks humans, we attack the lion and take him out. Right? Grizzly bears go into town, we take him out of town. Because we've had the assumption for most of history, humans are more important than animals. When I was going camping with my brother, we love camping and dirt biking. As we're driving towards my house, we're going to go this weekend, you know, not this weekend right now, but as we're going to be going out the following weekend, we're going there. My brother's like, you know, there's too many humans around. You know, there's not enough bears. You know, bears matter more than humans. Too many humans. I was like, if a bear comes into my camp, I hope you're choosing me over the bear. Like if a bear starts attacking me, right? So, but in theory, he's correct in theory. Humans are taking over. We should protect the bears more than the humans. Because there is a competition there. Like every time we build a building, this used to be nature here. We destroyed nature to build this building and every other building here, right? We also like not freezing to death. Who was happy to not freeze to death last night? Right? Well, there's a trade-off. We destroy nature to make lives more comfortable, right? But we want to do that responsibly. We want to have a balance between preserving nature and human flourishing, right? But we don't have the right to do that if we're not people. We're just animals. What right do we have to kick all these animals off their territory every time we make a building? Yes. Well, yeah, if a bear is attacking my brother, I will try and kill the bear. I like the bear. I want to preserve it. I want the bear to be around, right? I want to respect nature. But if nature is trying to kill a human, I'm going to try and kill that ant, whatever it is, lion, tiger, bear, mosquito. I kill mosquitoes all the time, right? And I don't feel bad about it, right? Anyhow, we talk more about this. The point is, if there is no God, we have no justification to prioritize human flourishing over animals. The best thing for the planet is for humans to go extinct. The best thing for nature is for humans to go extinct. Let's be honest. Right? Is that the best thing, though? No, because humans are special. We're in the image of God, right? The theology informs that. All right, number 2 is the illusion of choice. Again, if there is no God, then everything that you think is a choice is just a chain reaction started at the Big Bang, which means it's like playing a game of war. You ever play a game of war, right? So you can have 2 stacks of cards. I'm actually going to make it random this time, right? You have 2 stacks of cards. You flip over the top. Now, the catch is, as soon as I do this, the game is determined. So as soon as the Big Bang happens, you just don't know what it is. But one of those piles is going to win. You just start flipping over cards. So every time you make a choice, what you're going to eat for breakfast, who you're going to marry, what school you're going to go to, what your career is, are you going to change careers? That's all just you flipping over cards, right? It's kind of like those domino games. You see some crazy dominoes on YouTube. At the end of the day, as soon as you flick one domino, everything is already governed by physics. Everything is lined up and it's just watching the dominoes go. It's amazing to watch the dominoes go, but at the end of the day, it's just like those cards going down. Then what it is your choice. Every choice you think you have is an illusion. And this is not me saying this. Right here is a brilliant atheist, Stephen Hawking, probably one of those brilliant men to ever live. Man is determined. Everything about man. But it doesn't matter because you can't do anything about it anyways. You know, I do enjoy Stephen Hawking. He has a good wit about him. I disagree on religion, obviously, but I do just enjoy listening to him talk, the way he words things. And then look at this. This is his skill right here, right? You can't do anything about it anyways, but I have noticed that even people who claim that everything is predestined, so atheists and Calvinists, okay, are predestined and that we can do nothing to change it, they look before they cross the road. Why bother looking? It's all predetermined, right? This is in direct contrast to what the Bible says. The Bible says that the creator of the universe, who created us, gives us choice. So yes, there are electrochemical reactions in our brain. Yes, there's chemistry all over our bodies and physics and all this stuff. Yes, there is. But there's something supernatural above that we are in the image of God, and he gives us the choice. Today, I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses. Oh, that you would choose life. Now, this is amazing. Another way I would put it is the creator of the universe literally can control everything, but he dials his power back to share some of that power with you. If you can create the universe, he can control everything in your mind. He literally chooses not to, and he gives you that power. He says, please, I've told you what is right, what is wrong. Please choose what is right so you can have the blessings in your life. Choose life, but it's up to you. The reality of choice, the illusion of choice, if there is no God, if there is a God, there's a reality of choice. Again, none of this proves that God exists or not. This is problems. If there is no God, we have some problems. Okay? Because there's no choice, how are you going to put people in jail? They never chose it. Well, that's not fair, right? Another really big one is the illusion of value. You know, there have been people who have dug in the dirt, and they have found some shiny yellow stuff in the dirt or in a cave or wherever, and they covered it up, ran home, pulled all the money out of their bank, borrowed every bit of money they could get their hands on. Pass that around. It's 7 of them. Please bring them back to me. I know how to count. Right there. Here, pass that over there. This is a certain shiny yellow metal. You notice right away, though, or actually it's not a metal, it's a crystal. Looks like a metal, but look at the shape of it. Those little shapes, those are crystals. It is not gold. It is iron pyrite. Shiny and yellow, iron pyrite, known as fool's gold. People have ruined their lives mortgaging anything they have. They go, they dig that out of the ground. They're like, I'm rich. Just wait till my wife hears about this. They run to the goldsmith. Be like, ha, I got it made now, man. Let's go. And you hand it off, and the goldsmith looks at it, and instantly, he's an expert in gold. He looks at it, and he looks at you, and the excitement you have, and he's like, I'm sorry. Hopefully, he'll say iron pyrite, so he's not calling you a fool. But it's fool's gold. It's the illusion of value, right? Here's a quote from Richard Dawkins. Think about it. On one planet, and possibly only one planet in the entire universe, molecules that would normally make nothing more complicated than a chunk of rock. He's trying to put value. If there is no God, he's trying to still make it sound valuable, okay? Gather themselves together into chunks of rock-sized matter of such staggering complexity that they are capable of running, like frogs, insects, mammals, running, jumping, swimming, flying, seeing, hearing, capturing, like that lion and the zebra, capturing and eating other such animated chunks of complexity, capable in some cases of thinking and feeling, falling in love with yet other chunks of complex matter, right? But it's all an accident. It's all an illusion of value. Why do people matter? You're just a chemical reaction if there is no God. You can get poetic about it, but at the end of the day, you're just a chunk of matter, very complex, but that's all you are. Versus what the Bible tells us, right? Behold what manner of love the Father has lavished on us. Now, I used to argue with my roommates in college because they were cheap. I like saving money too, but they would buy that garbage jam that's like all sugar, food coloring, and like 2 strawberries in a giant jar. Garbage. Fake. We shared our budget, so we would go every third trip to the grocery store. We'd rotate. When I went, I got the Smucker's jam with real strawberries. I look on the ingredients and I want to see strawberry jam. Number 1, I want to see strawberries. Number 1, not number 4, right? When we get ranch dressing, I would get the Kraft or the Hidden Valley, not that no-name garbage, And they got so annoyed with it. They're like, Walter, man, what are you doing? And then when I made some toast, I not only had the Smuckers, I made the toast, I put it on there, right? I'm not that poor. They're like, what? One time they blindfolded me and we did a taste test because I was like, you know what? I noticed you guys whine about me spending too much money on our budget. When I go to the fridge, I notice my jam always runs out first. I notice my salad dressing goes empty first. They're like, oh, I can't tell them. I'm like, so they blindfolded me, did a taste test. I passed. There's a difference between real ranch and fake ranch, right? But it's like me putting that Smucker's jam on that toast. God, the creator of the universe, we are pathetic compared to God. If there is a God who made the universe, we're a pimple on the surface of a speck of dust compared to him. But for him to love us is ridiculous. But if the story of Jesus is real, however ridiculous it is, it's true, that behold what manner of love the Father has lavished on us, like Smucker's jam on some good whole wheat toast, that we, pathetic, violent, selfish, short-sighted humans, can be called the children of God. That's crazy. Or you have this. Which one's more beautiful? This or this? This is a big one. The illusion of right and wrong. For society to function, right, every society, even pirates in the Caribbean, okay? Pirates are the definition of lawlessness. By the way, we make them funny with Disney. Pirates are horrible, okay? They're like terrorists of the ocean, right? They're not cool. But even the pirates, when they would get together in a bigger group, they had to make rules just to function, right? And they have to have right and wrong. You have to have some code of conduct. In Brazil, right? You know the safest place to be in Rio de Janeiro? It's not in the part the government controls, it's in the part the gangsters control. Because nobody messes with the gangsters. They will burn you alive in a row of tires. They'll stack you in tires and set the tires on fire. The lowest crime rate is in the favela. Even there's right and wrong. Okay? Even there's right and wrong. In fact, there's more right and wrong in some ways than the regular city. But if there is no God, there isn't any real right and wrong. Right? Right and wrong is a social construct, things that we make up, right? If there is no God, then the rules of any family or the laws in any country are just rules that we make up. Since there's no higher authority or rule giver, there's no actual right or wrong, right? What is wrong with slavery? What is wrong with genocide? Animals do this, you know. The slavery is part of nature. Right? There are ants that literally enslave other ants to do all their work for them. Sound familiar? They use chemicals. Amazingly complicated thing, right? What's wrong with rape? There is rape in nature. Those cute little ducks that you love, those little mallard ducks, the male has a shiny green head. There's a female that isn't pregnant at the end of the mating season. The males will gang up on her and literally sometimes rape her to death. Not very cute. This is a part of nature. Why is rape wrong if we're only animals, right? And then murder. We talked about that. If there is no God, we're just smart animals. These things aren't wrong. In fact, in biology, again, the purpose of biology, science, is to pass your DNA on, like that lion is doing, right? That's why the ants are enslaving the others to help them have more resources, make more babies, pass their DNA on. Same thing with the rape. You're passing your DNA on, right? So not only are these things not wrong, if all you have is biology, these things help you reproduce more babies. Which, if you only have biology, these things are good. Are these things good? Are these things good? No. Why? If there is no God, there's no reason why. If all you have is science, these things help you pass on your DNA, therefore, biologically, they're actually good. They're wrong because humans are in the image of God. It is wrong to force women to marry someone against their will. It is wrong to do any of this stuff, right? Why? Because every human being is in the image of God. And even with nature, protecting the environment. Why? Because God made us rulers over the animals. And as a good monarch, a good king or queen, you want to take care of your subjects. You don't just want to harvest them to maximize your own benefit. You with me? So even environmentalism has a better case under Christianity or Judaism than without God. Without God, there's no accountability. Why not just forget nature, just make as many humans as possible, forget nature? Why? In the Bible, and atheists are right to quote it against us, we are called to care for nature as rulers of the planet, right? The image of God, He created them, male and female, He created them. Okay? Well, there is a reality of right and wrong, and we know it when we see it. And people who don't believe in God have the luxury of holding on to Christian values. They try and hold on to Christian values without Christianity. And that works for the first generation because you adopt your values as a child. You grow up in church, you become an atheist, you still hold Christian values based on Christian assumptions. What happens, you have a generation after generation with no God. That's where it breaks down. You no longer have those Judeo-Christian assumptions underneath the values, and the values go bye-bye. Okay? But there is right and wrong. 10 Commandments, I think, is a really great list. Imagine how great the world would be if we honored our parents, if everyone took a day off. You don't have to work 7 days a week. The world will not die because you take a day off, right? if we respected God's name, didn't make idols, don't murder, don't cheat, don't steal, don't lie, be content with what you have. If that's too long, get the shortened list from God, from Jesus. Love God with all your heart. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And of course, the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Imagine how beautiful the world would be if we actually followed the 10 Commandments or the 3 commandments of Jesus. Do unto others you would have them do unto you. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And love God with all your heart. Wouldn't the world be a better place? So there are problems in church. There's problems with Christianity, right? There's things I don't understand. There's things I do that I annoy myself sometimes. But before you break up with believing in God, be aware that over here, if you're honest, there's big problems over here, and I think these problems are bigger. Not having any basis for values and morals, I think, is bigger. And my brother discovered that. His daughter's older, his son is younger, taught his daughter not to lie because Jesus says so. There's an authority there. He told me it's easier to teach your kid not to lie when you believe in God. Because with his son, he had a harder time. Because again, it's just stuff you make up, right? So again, if there is no God, right, there is no personhood, there's no choice, there's no real value, there's no right and wrong. It's all an illusion. If there is a God, every person is in the image of God. If there is a God, the creator of the universe gives you choice and expects you to be responsible with it, right? You are responsible because you are able to respond. I'll say it again. You are responsible because your creator makes you able to respond to whatever happens to you. You have real value that God gives you because he calls you his child. And you know what? You don't have to make it up yourself. God tells you what is right and wrong. Okay? So these are problems with not believing in God. We can go into more. This is your crash course, your summary. Any questions here? It's different. It's not evidence, right? It's philosophy. We're kind of going into ideas a little bit more. Yes? I got the orange mic here, Nelson. Okay.
Hey, hello. So when I talk to some people, they say, well, we have the laws of the land, right? Because you wouldn't murder because that. So how would you address that with?
Well, that's really, really easy, right over here. Laws of the land. Legal to have slaves. Protected. It's a protected right for you to own slaves. And the Nazi soldiers in World War II, they had a very good defense that I was just following orders, right? So in America, it's illegal to kill a bunch of Jews. It wasn't just Jews, right? It's millions of people, including Eastern Europeans, right? Russians, Ukrainians, down the list, right? It's wrong to murder millions of people, not just in war, in like literally a death factory. And the soldiers, the guards of these concentration camps were like, I was following orders. The government defines what's right and wrong. The American government says this is right or wrong, right, which used to be slavery. Well, the German government, the Nazi government, said this is right and wrong. I was following this. They had to appeal to a higher order in order to put those horrible people in jail. Now, I have to be a little humble when I say that, though, because if Americans or Canadians were Nazi Germany, the science is very clear, we would have done very much the same thing. Right? That's been scientifically proven through experiments that in the right conditions, people from democracies will act just like the people did under dictatorships, whether it's Nazi Germany or Stalinistic Russia or Mao's China.
So I've been a barber for 34 years. I've spoke.
How's my haircut? I just got it done yesterday.
Not bad.
Not bad. Okay, good.
Yeah. So since becoming a Christian in 2004, I've talked to thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and it's not usually the atheists that have a problem with the law of God. It's usually the Christians. And so my answer to them is, when they say it was nailed to the cross, I tell them, nobody wants to keep the law, but everybody wants a neighbor who does.
Yes. And again, you know, I love specifics. Where is it here? It's which one do you want to throw out? Right? It's only number 4, usually. But you can't take out number 4 and leave all the rest. That's not intellectually honest. All right, any other questions here? Okay.
Thanks for the presentation. Just a quick comment. So, Dostoevsky, he summarized beautifully this, saying, if there is no God, everything is permitted.
Yes.
So, and also regarding what you mentioned here,
Well, if there is no God, everything's permitted, but then
Yeah.
our local government's the highest authority,
Yeah.
right? And then if it's not the local
Yeah.
government, then the UN's the highest authority.
yeah.
But sooner or later,
But there's no God, so who gives this authority to the government? Yeah.
well, it's whichever is the highest form of government. But I promise you will find flaws with that, and
Yeah.
that's why it's
no, yeah,
it's
I
so
just
powerful.
I'm just sticking to this first piece
Mhm.
because if there's no God, there's no laws that will organize society. So, but that's the biggest point for me because, okay, but which is the true God?
Well, we talked
yeah,
about that
yeah,
at
yeah.
11 o'clock. If
Yeah.
Jesus rose from the dead,
No,
he
I
is the
mean,
true God.
What I'm saying is, as Selena mentioned here, this is a good point to show that we need a ultimate creator that create laws to organize life and make everything make sense for us. Then going further, why this Christian God and not the Muslim God or not the Buddhist, whatever religion? And when I come up to these questions, it seems that kind of easy to respond to that because if you look to these 10 commandments, they provide the best way to organize life in this planet. That no other religion have these lists so clearly well balanced to guarantee that we can exist here, not just for now, but to maintain life forever. So it's not just a matter of it's a random. Because you mentioned about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I already saw him saying this. Why you don't believe in God? Yeah, because he said I Google it, and there are like hundreds of thousands of God. And I don't have time to search and analyze each one of them, so I prefer just don't believe in it. But it's not just an arbitrary choice. It's easy to identify which is the God and which is the religion that provides the better results for society. Even Richard Dawkins said that I'm an atheist, but I like better to live in a Christian society rather than a Muslim society.
Yeah, he's softened. He's softened. It's been really neat. He's even, I believe he's called himself a cultural Christian. Yeah. And you know, with that, as we talk to, you know, our Chinese brothers and sisters, or, you know, from India or Indonesia, et cetera, where there's majority other religions, there are some beautiful teachings in all these major religions. There's really some beautiful, some deep wisdom, et cetera, where for me, you know, there is the element of the best countries in the world that most people want to move to. We can measure that. 100 people are applying to move to that country. Those are all pretty much Protestant countries, right? And particularly British, former British colonies. So Canada, U.S., Australia, New Zealand, et cetera. Hong Kong, right? Like before Hong Kong went back to communist China, you want to live in Hong Kong or China? I'll take Hong Kong, thank you. So that's one element too. And I think to me also there's also the historical element. No other religion has the historical claims that Jesus does and the evidence to back it up. For example, Islam, one of their fundamental claims that the Bible is inspired by Allah, right? So Jesus is a prophet, not the Son of God, prophet, but that the Bible was corrupted by Christians and or Jews, for example, to switch from Isaac to Ishmael. That Ishmael is supposed to be the top son, and that Jews changed the Bible to put Isaac first. Or that Christians changed the New Testament to put Jesus, the Son of God, not just a prophet. Well, the problem is when we look at the manuscripts, there's zero evidence for that. The Dead Sea Scrolls, 25,000 New Testament manuscripts, like that's just not true. So one of the core tenets of Islam is factually wrong versus the core tenets of Christianity. Jesus rose from the dead, and the evidence we have to support that. right? And then also the prophecies of Jesus, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Didn't have time to get into that, but there's really robust evidence to zero down Christianity more. So there's the practical element, like what we're doing right now. It's a practical element, as well as the evidential element as well. And I think those both, in my mind, make a really strong case. And you know, you can say, well, there's 10,000 or a million other religions. You don't have to Google them all. Again, number one, just look at the major ones. Just start with the major ones. So there's Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, you know, Hinduism, etc. And even there, like Jesus gives you the smoking gun. Did he rise from the dead? And you see the evidence for that. You compare it to any other religion, and you're like, it's not the same. You know, a car is not the same as a bike. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. All right. We want to start the next topic here at 2 o'clock. So if there isn't a burning question, let's take a little break, stretch your legs, move your body. I believe in biology. You are not designed to sit down for 2 hours straight and overload your